Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Obviously, the past few weeks have been very dramatic, you could say, between Battlefield and Call of Duty. And quite frankly, the more that Call of Duty talks right now, the more I feel like they should be worried. They keep saying things that I feel like are just opening the door. They are leaving it wide open for things to backfire tremendously. Honestly, things are already kind of starting to backfire tremendously. Was at the gym today playing some basketball, got a notification, and it was some really interesting information. I hadn't looked into any of the stats on this yet, and luckily Charlie Intel was on it, but they ended up posting earlier today. Black Ops 7 is now one of the first Call of Duty games to not top the PlayStation 5 pre-order charts days after an announcement. This has kind of been a thing for a long time, and it's why Call of Duty put out the whole, "Oh, we're too big to fail" quote a little while back, because when a new Call of Duty gets announced, doesn't matter if it was the most hyped thing ever or just another mid Call of Duty, it immediately soars to number one most pre-ordered game, number one, looked at, viewed game, whatever the case is. Like, it always trends. It's always at the top of the charts. In year, when COD drops, it's the number one seller for that month. It's the number one seller after that, and the month after, and the month after, and it's the most played this week and the most played that week. Like, Call of Duty has the stats to back up that statement. It's still a dumb statement because it's opening the door for the fans and the audience to say, no, you're not. We're going to prove that you're not. And they're already kind of doing so, because as we can see here, 3 days after the reveal of Black Ops 7, a time in which in any other year, Call of Duty would be the most pre-ordered game on the planet right now, the Vault Edition pre-order has currently only peaked at number 8 behind both editions of Battlefield 6. These are the pre-order listings currently. One thing I will note is 2K26 is on here 3 times, which is kind of insane. But you can see the Phantom Edition for Battlefield 6 is number 3. I've said it before, but like, I've gotten so many comments over the past 2 days. It's like, yeah, Black Ops 7 confirmed I'm pre-ordering Battlefield, not Black Ops 7. Black Ops 7 just made it very easy for me to pre-order Battlefield. And then you have the Standard Edition of Battlefield at number 5 most pre-ordered. And then at number 8, the Black Ops 7 Vault Edition. Now, this is just the PlayStation Store. Keep in mind, we know based on the most recent data that it's about 66% of players on console, 33% on PC. That could have shifted a little bit since we got that data, but it's about 33% a platform between PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. Now, Xbox, the numbers might look a little bit better because they've got Game Pass. They might actually look a little bit worse, though, because players know they don't have to pre-order to play the game. It's going to be on Game Pass, so they just might be relying on that. That's truly the best bang for your buck. You're already paying for Game Pass. You play a couple of games off of it. It pays for itself. You don't have to worry about spending money on Call of Duty. That way, the value there isn't necessarily as important, right? Spending $70, you want to get that $70 value, but if you got Game Pass, it's paying for itself. It's a great deal for gamers if you're playing multiple games. Then PC, it's a large, play space for COD. Now they've got BNet, they've got Steam, they've got Microsoft PC Store, though, which also has Game Pass available on it. So PlayStation, this is the true place where it's like, okay, are people actually buying the game? Are they actually pre-ordering outside of Game Pass? So while this is not the end of the world, the only thing to look at, it is very indicative of what's going on here, where this is the first time in some time where Call of Duty probably should be worried at least a little bit. The whole too big to fail comment was insanely tone deaf. That is a dumb thing to say, quite frankly. And this is proving why. Because you are never too big to fail, especially when you put out products like this where they don't get well received. Now, personally, I'm still very much so intrigued by the multiplayer. I'm not really super bought in on the campaign. I think it looks a little too crazy. It just doesn't really scream Call of Duty to me. What we've seen and what we've heard about multiplayer sounds like a mixture of Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3, which I think I'm going to enjoy. Keyword think. I'm not going to make any final conclusions until I play the beta, and I think that's how most people should probably go about it, unless you're just purely, I don't care for futuristic stuff, and that's fine. That's totally okay. But this is alarming if I was Call of Duty, that you're not, for the first time in a long time, instantly selling like hotcakes. But it's not like Call of Duty not being, heavily hyped right now is brand new. Just a few days ago, Mike Ybarra, the former president of Blizzard, said Call of Duty's been lazy, and we actually got a response to that. And by the way, we've got a crazy couple of months coming up here. I mean, through September, we'll have new updates obviously going out for COD, new reveals going out for Battlefield. We've got COD next to the end of the month, and then October, Battlefield 6 launching, Black Ops 7 beta into November, Black Ops 7 launch. You guys are going to want to stay tuned for everything we are covering here, the good, the bad, everything in between. So if you want to stay up to date, be sure to hit that subscribe subscribe button, turn on those post notifications, help get us one step closer to reaching 1 million. And if you enjoy this video, a like rating is always seriously appreciated. It really does help the channel grow, and share the video around. So this is a new article that was posted on IGN titled Black Ops 7 dev responds to the lazy accusations in Battlefield 6, let's all have fun. And this is what this basically goes through and states. As I just mentioned here, Mike Ybarra, the former Blizzard president, said Battlefield's going to boot stomp COD this year. COD is not going to have to be lazy anymore if they want to, get back into the game, if you will, and everyone benefits in the FPS space from that. And that's what I've said from the beginning. I'm not rooting for Black Ops 7 to fail, because quite frankly, I think if the Call of Duty fails, that's just going to push them to be more egregious and greedier. I'm rooting for Black Ops 7 to be the best game it can be, because that's good for players. I'm also rooting for Battlefield 6 to be absolutely phenomenal as well, because that's good for players. And when they both are doing well, everyone benefits. Both the games have to do better and better and better to keep one-upping each other. But in this, speaking to IGN ahead of Black Ops 7's opening night live reveal, creative director Miles Leslie said Treyarch tries to shut out the noise and focus on delivering the best game possible. He quote says, "You just don't worry about it," when asked about the lazy claims. When we start, it's not like, what are they going to think? Although, granted, I'm not necessarily sure who they is referencing here. Are you referencing your peers in the industry? Are you referencing your audience? Because you probably should care what the audience thinks a little bit. And I think peers in the industry are also part of your audience. It's like we have a vision, we're going to hit that vision, and there's always going to be people that are going to try and knock you down and not have positive criticism, which we do look for. So it's like noise, right? You try and cut through it and stick to your vision and plan. But at the same time, one, you can't just listen to positive criticism, because then you don't actually fix anything. You focus on just the good. Okay, well then what about the bad? You have to pay attention to that, because that's what needs to be addressed the most. You have to listen to positive and negative criticism. And this kind of just sounds, and I'm not sure, the full intent and tone here, because I've had the ability to talk to Miles Leslie on various different creator calls I've been a part of. He seems like a very cool guy. So I'm not sure the exact tone could fully be translated here in text. It's hard to do so, but this seems more like they're saying, we hear feedback, but we have a vision. We want the vision. Like they have their point that they want to reach, their goal. It doesn't matter if people don't like how they get to the goal. They're just going to get there, which doesn't really equate well to wanting to sell more than your competitor, which currently is very open to hearing feedback, as we covered in a video earlier today, talking about how some major responses are already being made to Battlefield gameplay based off of the beta. So you basically have Call of Duty calling complaints and criticism noise. You have them stating that they're too big to fail. And then you have situations like this where the gameplay reveal trailer for the game currently has 35 million views. Granted, it's being used as an add-on video, so that like spikes the view count to absurd numbers. It only has 48,000 likes, which is really low for a COD trailer, especially in comparison to that view ratio. And when you look at the comments, I actually just did a video on my second channel reacting to a bunch of these comments, because there are some hilarious ones. They're getting ratioed left, right, and center. Keep this 48,000 like number in mind. Top comments here from a COD player: thanks for making it easy to choose Battlefield. 64,000 likes, ratioed. This comment's been going viral everywhere. This actually made me pre-order Battlefield 6. 157,000 likes. Maybe that's why Battlefield 6 is number 3 on the PlayStation pre-orders and COD's number 8, because everyone watched the trailer and just went and pre-ordered Battlefield 6. But like, that's terrible PR. You can say all publicity is good publicity, not when it's specifically talking positive about your competition instead of you on your own product. This should be concerning for Call of Duty. Nothing that's happening here is good. And like I said a few days ago when I did my initial criticism and like response to Black Ops 7, I don't think they nailed the marketing. I think they missed the mark quite a bit with the reveal, focusing too much on campaign, which seemingly is by far the most outlandish and crazy element of Black Ops 7. Multiplayer, quite frankly, in my opinion, based off of what we've actually seen, what they've actually talked about in their directs that they didn't really promote very well, based on the leaks that we have, the inside information that's come out, multiplayer sounds like it's going to be pretty close to Black Ops 2, which I loved. So I'm really intrigued by that, and I can't wait to actually play it so I can form a real opinion. But they didn't focus on that. They focused on the craziness of the game, which doesn't land well when the community wasn't really asking for this crazy game. They've been asking for many different things, and none of the things were really checked off in this checklist here, outside of maybe going back to some Black Ops 2 stuff. But again, that wasn't a heavy focus during any of the reveal stuff. It's like they just are relying on COD Next to do all that for them. It's over a month away. That's a month where, unless they retaliate in some capacity and, walk things back a little bit, do some transparency in terms of public posts, whether it's blogs or a dev sit down or something, then it's going to be a month now of them getting clowned again and again because of this reveal and because of what's come out about Black Ops 7 so far. And you can't just say, oh, it'll be bad for a month, but trust us, it'll get fixed at COD Next. Because that's not a guarantee either. It's been some time since we've had a situation like this. Like, it really was Infinite Warfare versus Battlefield 1 the last time COD had this low of a sentiment versus its direct competitor in Battlefield. And Infinite Warfare still sold a ton of copies, probably thanks to COD 4. Battlefield 1 also sold a ton of copies as well that year. But the communities were arguably smaller for each of those games at that time. Maybe not Battlefield, but definitely COD. Like, COD boomed way more after Infinite Warfare with the Warzone era and everything post MW 2019. So while the sentiment might have been even worse for Infinite Warfare back in the day, it's very bad now, and it's 5 times louder now because of the sheer volume of people, no pun intended, talking about the negativity with this game. It's overwhelmingly everywhere right now, and that should have Call of Duty worried. To sit there and just assume this will all blow over and everyone at launch is going to play the game anyways, some people will, and that's going to happen. Some people won't, and it might be a much larger number on the latter there than they would like to have, that they would like to realize there, unless they do some course correcting. I don't necessarily trust Call of Duty to do some course correcting. They very much so avoid swallowing their pride a lot of the times and saying, yeah, we screwed up, especially in this capacity where a launch has been, quite frankly, fumbled. I'm really curious to see how they react, if they react here. But they should be worried. They should be sweating a little bit, getting a little bit nervous, because Battlefield is coming. They're not messing around. Call of Duty seems like it's messing around. So we're going to see what happens here. You guys already know, I'll have you up to date with everything going on between Battlefield and Call of Duty. So you're not going to want to miss anything over the next couple months. Like I said, very, very busy time. Be sure to hit that subscribe button to stay in the know. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button on your way out. Once again, though, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy. Have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.